Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? Guys, we are getting really close into just seeing how much craziness is going to be popping off in line. Um, Not only are we getting more dialogue and understanding about what uh Alter Alter Enterprise is all about. I mean, it was pretty obvious what she was about, seeing how she was really just into, fighting and war is her thing, and she's trying to make sure that the other version of her understands that she should be, reacting the same way as her. In the case of taking on everybody, fighting all these, different battles that she should be fighting, which this week's episode we do see her, stepping up even regardless of all the stuff she's been going through on the daily. It just kind of puts into perspective, how much she believes that that's all she's really good for, and more reason to give us like less hope in the case of her not becoming this version of the alter enterprise the way that she's going about. The only thing that's different between her and the other version is the other version seems like she doesn't have that fear of the ocean, that and more or less she thrives from being on the ocean, if anything, right? Like, she lives and battles on the ocean all the time, while the other one gets to take these breaks from not fighting. But at the same time, someone like this Alter Enterprise doesn't seem like she would be getting those breaks, right? Like she would be going into a, back to the home base, eating, relaxing, chilling, all that stuff. But it kind of goes to show you that's what our Enterprise wants, right? Like, she wants to be more like the other Enterprise, even though she doesn't necessarily say it, or she doesn't necessarily, you know, vocally say it, or she doesn't show it in the case of going out in the battle and enjoying the battle or something, I guess you can say. But I'm saying she's becoming more, or wants to become more like her, because of how much effort she puts into getting out on the battlefield, how much effort she puts into not being human, right? I don't need to eat all that food and, protect my life in the human way. I need to be stronger and ready to fight in the warship way, right? Like, that's the only thing she's really kind of focused on. And that sounds more like a mindset of what the Alter Enterprise would be like, seeing how all we see is her fighting, destroying, and putting down some bodies, right? Like, we don't have any other indicators to tell us that Alter Enterprise is sweet and nourishing and wants everybody to have a good time. Um, what we do know is that she loves her some battles, and so much so that she's telling her other self that isn't, her, that she will sooner or later come to these, terms as well, be in the same line of position of wanting to battle, liking to battle, or at least just battling and destroying as many like enemies as possible. Pretty much is where her future is lining up, and maybe the Alter Enterprise isn't even like a reality, and it's more just like a um, visual of what you can become and what you may become. Because with the Black Cube, we didn't see any of this weird stuff happen with people who were directly holding the cube, right? And once we saw people directly holding the cube, they didn't have any like crazy tendencies. I mean, no one on our team, on our side, on the Lion side, has touched the cube barehanded, I'm pretty sure. The only person that I'm talking about is the one off the Empire who passed away, quote unquote. Um, which, going over to the Empire, they are in such a weird position. Like, not only did they want to kind of like squash anything that they had to do with the Sirens, because not only did they have the Black Cube that was kind of, their creation, But they also were working on a ship that supposedly everybody did know about. It's just I don't think they knew the means of which old girl was going about to get further in her process of working for it. You know, like the Black Cube and working with a third party and stuff like that. I don't think they knew she was doing that to get that ship up and running. But as a whole, if she continued, it would have probably worked a lot better. And it looks like the ship is up and running anyway with the sister of the girl who passed away on the Sakurai team. I, excuse me, I'm just interested in where does all of this lead, right? Like, where does all of these characters kind of end up because of these terms that have been set by the Sirens, by, you know, this the battle in general that they have not settled at all. Things like that are what really gets me, you know, hyped for a show that really not a lot of people have even warned me about. Like, it's not a show that I was like, oh my god, I heard so much about it and I can't wait to see why all these people love it and blah blah. It was just a show that happened to pop up. I looked at some of the action scenes and I was like, okay, I want to know what's going on here, and then now I'm kind of hooked. But at the same time, to think that this show is just an app game and, you know, there's probably not too much characterization of like cutscenes and moments in the app game. I'm just guessing. I don't actually know. But for me, I played a lot of anime app games, and there's some that go into real heavy detail, and there's some that don't go into detail at all and just expect you to put more money in and play. So it depends on what type of game it is and how much details they actually put into all these characters within it to then put it on screen. So at times we may just be watching characters interact and talk that are all brand new interactions and talking because we had no idea what they would actually be like outside of just being in the game. So interesting enough, I am interested 100% in the case of Enterprise, and now one of the team members of Sakurai actually taking the ship out and maybe truly getting what she wants in the case of seeing what it would be like to bring someone back from the dead and what their body might actually be like, because getting teased with it earlier on in this episode, telling them that, you know, you could bring back whoever you wanted, blah blah blah, but to come to find out that the girl who really would want to bring someone back already had an understanding of what usually that happens once you bring someone back. Once you bring someone back, they're just a mirror of what you expected them. They don't have their personality, they don't have their traits, they don't have any of that stuff. But as soon as that was said, the third party Siren pretty much, you know, um, chimes in and says it is all true. Like, as soon as you bring her back, she'll be the person you remember. She'll have the memories, she'll have the face, she'll have, you know, everything you remember. She will be that person if you just continue to do what we're telling you to do. And this whole episode was kind of centered around the Black Cube, even though it's not specifically gotten any new information about it. All we know is that it got more powerful from being with them, and that's exactly what the sister who passed away was saying. She said, let them take it, and once they take it, they're going to nurture it, and then once it's nurtured, it might come back perfectly the way that they want it, like as soon as they get it back. And to think that it only took one person to go into a whole enemy base and pull it off is crazy, from the third party. So it goes to show you that they've already kind of now summed up in my mind that the third party should become the main target and the two teams should work together to have to smash them. So that just came to my mind when when one of them come in and handle this soundly, which it's also a Siren that we've never seen before. So there's like, we've seen probably three so far, and in the case of in the real at this actual time, the real time, present time, and the ones that the other one of them we've seen was like the kind of the leader supposedly. The other ones we saw was during the battle when Enterprise actually snaps into her enter her beast mode. And the last time was just now, where we see this girl who I believe we've never seen her before, but she straight up just dips. Like, she's moving so fast, people couldn't even keep up with her. The same, same way she uses her uh, way to move is the same way our girls pretty much move, but somehow she's tapping into something that makes her go a little bit faster to not be caught. So I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody's talking about when it comes down to this show. I think it's coming to its first season finale soon here, so there's also that to look forward to see how they're going to end it off, or how they're going to put a continuation in there. I don't know fully yet, but I know some people who actually play the app and all that stuff probably have an understanding that we're not even close to the end, or we are super close to the end. So we'll see how it all plays out. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I definitely will talk to you in the next one. So with that being said, peace.